Welcome to Pet Partners. So glad to be back with you for our first spring edition of the show. And as the seasons are changing, so are things at the Rutland County Humane Society. It is an ever dynamic place with all kinds of things going on. And here to tell us more about everything that's going on this spring at RCHS, my friend Amelia Gardner. It's nice to have you here.
It's great to be back in a little warmer weather this time.
I know. It's improving bit by bit.
Today's a little chilly, but definitely spring is in the air.
It is in the air, and when I see you again next month, even better, right?
Absolutely.
So you have a jaunty little gentleman with you here today.
Yes, this is little Mocha. We'll talk a little bit more about him later, but he's hanging out with me today, and he's looking for a forever home. So maybe someone watching the show will fall in love with him. I mean, how can you not?
Oh, these small dog fans, we don't always have a lot at the shelters, so probably time to snag him up because he probably won't be there very long, right? He's a cutie.
He's a very sweet boy, and he's young, and he's, a very social guy. But yeah, little dogs tend to go pretty quickly. Sometimes they don't even make it on the site. So it's always good to kind of give us a call or check in, and you never know. We have a wish list, so if people are looking for specific animals like small dogs or chihuahuas, we can make a list, so when we get an animal that matches that, we can give you a call.
Oh, that's good to know. So not just the wish list that the shelter needs,
but
the wish list if someone is looking for a specific kind or size or age or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
That's good to know. He's coming around, Mocha, I think, to say hi. He started out a little shy and shivery, and then he kind of made his...
warmed up very quickly.
Yeah, made his way around, then he got the zoomies.
Yep.
And yeah, nobody can see on this side over here, but I think he thought one of our microphones was something that was going to get him.
Yeah, it could be, but he's feeling good now. But we'll talk about you in a little bit. But we're going to start off with our friend Indigo. So Indigo is a 2-year-old mixed breed. He's 40 to 45 pounds. I think he's probably got some hound in him too, just because he's got the most adorable ears. But he's available as a foster. He's about 2 years old. He is available as a foster to adopt because he's actually currently being treated for heartworm. And so that is going to go through April while he can get his, heartworm injections. But right now he's on some medication. So whoever is interested in taking him, that's going to be just something that they'll have to be comfortable doing. He's very good about it. But he's a very sweet boy. He's not a fan of other dogs or really cats, so he really needs to be the only animal in the house. But he's kind of a goofy dude. I know you don't really get a good picture of it here. He was a little bit nervous. It was a little chilly this morning, and he wasn't really sure about the camera being close to him. But he's kind of just like a goofy dude. You take him outside, he gets the zoomies, he's jumping around. He's still figuring out some toys. He hasn't really learned what fetch is or anything, but I think he'll get there as he settles in. He was in foster before he came in, so we did kind of get to know how he is in a home environment. He's very well-mannered. He keeps to himself. He likes to just kind of curl up in his bed, his little Afghan blanket he curls up in, and maybe a toy to chew on, and that's about it. He's very low maintenance. He would probably do better in a home with someone who's around a lot, because he does kind of latch on to people once he gets to know you. But we just love to get him out of the shelter as he's on medication and kind of waiting for the rest of his treatment to go. And so if you're interested in opening up your home to him and giving him a cozy couch to lay on and some playtime, the one thing to consider is as he's undergoing treatment, he's not a super high energy dog anyway, so it's not hard to do, but you do have to kind of limit his exercise as he's going through treatment. But like I said, I wouldn't say couch potato, but he's definitely not a dog, at least right now, that needs a lot of high strenuous exercise by any means. But
happy to be snuggled up by your side.
Definitely a cuddle bug for sure. But he really is a sweet boy, and he's come out of his shell a lot since being with us. He was very, very quiet, but he's really opened up quite a bit, and I think he's just waiting for for a good home, the right home. And he is more, it's kind of hard to tell. He's got more of like a brownish color to him. We have a lot of black and white dogs right now, but he's a really good boy. So if you're interested, definitely give us a call, because I think he would be a lot happier curled up on someone's couch for sure.
Yes, he's lovely.
He's a nice boy.
He just looks like such a nice boy.
Yeah, I think a good family dog too. He would be, with older kids and everything. But so the next pup is kind of the opposite side. This is Millie. She's about 3 years old, just over 3 years old. She's kind of a husky mix. She is a lot more energy. She's a very sweet girl. Definitely has like kind of the puppy mannerisms. We're working really hard on like jumping and those kind of manners. Has improved, but she still needs to be reminded every now and then. But has a lot of energy and loves to be. So she's very true to the breed. Loves to be outside. Doesn't matter if it's raining, snowing. She could care less. She just wants to be outside running. Definitely would need to be on like a long line or a fenced-in area, because she's, until you really get her trained, because she will just she's independent, so she will just take herself on a guided tour of the outdoors. But she was adopted recently into a home with multiple, I think there were 5 other dogs. They were larger breed dogs, and then there was one smaller dog in the home. And she did the meet and greet. She did fine with them on site, but in the home there were some dynamic issues where she just was a lot for a couple of the dogs. One of the dogs she played really well with, but she hasn't really learned how to pick up on social cues from dogs, on like when a dog is really done playing or isn't interested in playing. She hasn't really learned how to respect that, and so she will kind of keep in trying to engage with that dog. And I think, the owner, the adopter was just worried that because he had one of his dogs was very big, that it just wasn't going to end well. And it seemed like those smaller dog, they had gotten into a little bit of an altercation, and it was mostly just verbal, working things out, but their little dog was just terrified of her. And so just the dynamics in the home just were not a great dynamic sense, and he felt like maybe she needed a home where she could get more one-on-one, or a dog that is very similar play style, so a younger dog that is kind of into more roughhousing play, versus dogs that, each dog has a different play style, and so she's definitely seems to need that. I don't think she's necessarily dog selective. She thinks everybody's her best friend. She doesn't see it as an issue, but other dogs may not like that play style. So if your dog has that kind of energy, it will probably be a really good fit. She is very social with people. You get her out of the kennel, she wants to be everyone's best friend. Again, leash manners we're working on with her, as far as, not everyone wants to be greeted by you, but she thinks everybody wants to see her because she's fabulous. I mean, she's beautiful.
Look how cute she is.
She came to us. She kind of has had a tough history, honestly. She came from a home that, we found out later that she had been abused. And so she does have some scarring on her legs, her front legs, from being tied. And she does have some missing teeth from some physical abuse that she withstood. So she does have some missing teeth. She doesn't have any issues with eating so far that we've seen, but in the future it may be she may need a dental or maybe some teeth removed. The vets didn't feel like she needed anything done as of right now. She's very young and otherwise very healthy. So I think a young or active family, maybe a dog, maybe not a dog, I think as long as she has a place to have an outlet where she can just explore and run, and someone who's really outdoorsy would be a really good fit for her, just because she's the kind of dog that if you're outside, rain or shine, she's your girl. Like, she will stick right with you. And once you get a good relationship, I wouldn't say she'll stick right with you from the beginning, but she does like her people. And so if you want dog that you can go outside with and play with and have that fun exercise with, but also come inside and cuddle up. She, at first, wasn't really a huge fan of affection. I don't know if it was because she was kind of new to it, but she's really kind of taken a liking to pets and laying down with her and just kind of having a little bit of a chill time, and that that's also kind of enjoyable for her. So
Yeah.
she's learning to kind of be a dog, which is really fun to see. But she's very, very resilient. She doesn't seem like she's ever been through anything. She just has a very loving demeanor, as you can tell, and very playful and just kind of silly. Very
Yeah.
cheerful. She's kind of like a ray of sunshine, honestly. You know, you go into the kennel and every dog greets you in their own way, and then you've got Millie, who she's not super vocal in the kennel, but you know, when you go to see her, she's just like greets you with a smile, a happy tail, and just is one of those dogs that really just is so happy to be around people. So definitely another home, I think, with somebody who's home a lot, or at least has regular socializing with people, just because she really does thrive on human interaction, for sure.
She looks like if a red panda
Yeah,
met
she
a dog.
does.
She just has the cutest little face.
She
and
did get
ears.
groomed. The adopter gave her a big grooming. He said that there was a whole other dog that came off of her. So, but she is definitely fully shedding. You can see some of that coat coming out even more. But if you know the breed, they are a high maintenance grooming
yes.
breed. So definitely do your research on the breed, because she's pretty true to that breed as far as being very independent, more social, I think, than some, but definitely her coat for sure is, and she's put on some weight since she came in. She was very, very thin. It's hard to tell when they're so fluffy, but she has a decent appetite. It has increased, but she's a little more picky with food than some. So again, that's pretty true to the breed. They can be kind of food snobs
Yes.
at times. So she has gotten better, but she is a little more selective than some when it comes to certain food. But she has put on quite a bit of weight since she came in, so she still has some weight to put on. I would say another, I think we've 6 or so pounds. She would be at a good weight for her, but she's an active breed, so I think it would, once she gets a good food, it'll be easy to keep weight on her. But so the next one we have is our star, Mr. Mocha. So he's only about a year old. He is a Chihuahua, and he definitely is pretty true to the Chihuahua nature as far as being very nervous. As you can kind of tell from the video, he's a little shaky, but when he came here, you saw how nervous he was.
Yes, coming in the door.
Yep, and which is a very typical small breed, and he's also not very socialized, but he really is very sweet. You saw how quickly he came out of his shell here, just by realizing that nothing scary is happening.
Yes, it wasn't long before each person would kind of approach him quietly, and then next thing you know, he was licking everybody's hands.
Yeah.
And then he was down on the floor, running around, rolling and being silly. So it really didn't take him long at all.
No, I think just again, with small dogs, respecting their space and their boundaries, but he's a very good-natured dog. He's actually in my office right now at the shelter, because it was very, very loud and back for him. He just was too stressed. So we brought him up to my office, and that's where you'll see him. He is right now, and he was happier, but he was getting a little yappy with people that would come into his area. I think, again, he didn't feel like it was his safe space yet. So, little dogs tend to be pretty mouthy because they have to be to advocate for themselves. So I think just socializing him and respecting him and giving him that slow introduction with people, and as you saw, he quickly will settle. He trusts very quickly. He's just a year old, so he's still a baby, and so it's such a good time to get him into a home and get him into a good routine and get to know his new family. And he's got the cutest little pink sides on his nose.
He does.
It's adorable.
Yeah. And he's really cute spots too, on his back.
But
Yeah,
he
nice
really is a
color.
good-natured dog. I would say he has shown, it's hard to tell in the shelter, but he has shown a little bit of stress around cats, but I don't know if it was just the environment. And it was also a cat that wasn't really thrilled about him either. So it's hard to tell which way it was coming from. It could have been mutual, but he may be okay with cats. It's hard to know. I don't think he had any cats in his home where he came from, but he wasn't in there for very long, so they didn't have a lot of information on him. But overall, he's he's a social guy. I think once he settles and gets comfortable, I think he'll do well in a lot of different homes. I think with kids, they would have to be old enough to, again, respect him and not go running up to him, because I think that's where you're going to find that he's going to really shut down, is if you let people just kind of greet him without him really being okay with it. And you want to come up? Yeah. So now we will move on to kitty cats. So the first cat we have is Richard. Okay. Richard is actually looking for a foster home. So he's only about 7 months, so he's still a baby, but he's been on meds, on ear meds. He's had some kind of just reoccurring ear infections that they are improving, but they just aren't quite ready to be good, so to be cleared. So he's been on like his 3rd round of antibiotics for his ears. And so we'd love to just get him into a home where he can just kind of stretch his legs, get some love, be a cat, versus, being in the shelter. So if you're, again, comfortable, he's very good about his meds. He's very cooperative. He has kind of that kitten mentality. He's very social, likes to be held. He does really like you can see it a little bit here, but he does try to kind of burrow under your neck.
Yeah,
so definitely a
he wants to
Velcro
snuggle
cat.
in and hug.
I think he's going to be the cat that when you sleep, he's going to be curled around your neck.
Oh, my mom has a cat like that. I
Yeah.
could never sleep like that, but she does.
Yeah, and some people, people get used to it, and the cat's kind of just don't give him an option.
Yeah, or the cat
This
will
is the way it
go
is.
around her head.
Yep, like a little hat.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. He's very social. He seems to like other cats. He seems to like everybody he meets. He doesn't seem, I think, again, another cat that he's young, so he doesn't have a lot of history with a lot of things, but he definitely seems like he'll do fine in a lot of different home environments. And so, if you're interested in fostering him or foster to adopting him while he's on meds, definitely stop by and see him, because he's a really nice boy, and he's been here for a while, and I'd love to just let him be in a home and be a cat.
Yeah,
run around,
especially when he's so
play.
young and
Yeah.
learning everything. It'd be nice for him to learn
Absolutely.
what a home is like.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and especially if you have other cats, it's a great way for them to get, learn their routine a lot quicker when they can
They
learn from
do
other
the
cats.
teaching, they do the
Yeah.
socializing. It's always kind of amazing to watch.
Yeah, and hopefully they pick up on the good habits too. So it seems like, they're quick to pick up on the naughty behavior, but at least with dogs they definitely do. But he's a very sweet boy, and he's so cute. His little white paws
He's
there.
really cute. Yeah, he looks like he just wants to snuggle up and
Yeah.
take a nap.
He was ready to jump out of my arms. So next we have Snowbean. So Snowbean is another little baby. He
Aw.
is about 5 months old. He's going to be ready to to go into somebody's home in the next day or so. He just got neutered in all his vaccines, and he did get a clean bill of health from the vet, so he is ready to go. But he, again, another just social, sweet, cuddly cat. And he, again, has little cute white markings on his forehead and little white paws. We have a lot of kind of black and white and then black cats right now. It seems to be black kitten season, I guess, in the spring. We have quite a few at the shelter.
Tuxedo, just in time for the
Yes,
prom.
there you go. I love
Weddings.
it. I love it.
They're all
So,
dressed up.
He's very sweet. He did come in with other cats, so we know he gets along with cats. And I don't know, we're not sure about dogs, but he's seen dogs, he just hasn't had any kind of strong reaction, which is a good sign. And being only 5-ish months, he's a lot easier to kind of acclimate into your home. So whatever dynamics you have, getting him used to that. But he just seems pretty resilient and easy to handle, happy to be around people. I think another one that may be, a sleeping around your neck, or at least sleeping near you kind of cat. We have a lot of cats in the building that either are very particular about how and when they will be handled, which is pretty typical for cats. And then we have the other side of cats that just want to be kind of like Mocha, toted around and with you at all times. So, a couple in between, but that seems to be what we've got right now. But very, very sweet cat. And then the last cat we have, she's not ready for adoption, but her name is Chai, and she is actually a new mama. She came in with her one baby, Noodle. And so, because Chai and Noodle go together, not sure where the names came, but she came in just, I think it was over the weekend, and she just had a single kitten. And then just the other day, we had someone bring in the buff kitten there, who is named Ramen, who they had, unfortunately, mom was just hit by a car right in front of them. And so they brought us the baby, and they were just like, her eyes aren't even open. She's just tiny thing. And they rushed her over here. Like, she's still breathing. She seems to be still alive, but she's so little. So we're like, okay, let's see if, mama will take her. She's got a baby that's very similar in age. So we put the baby in, she's very new to us, so she doesn't know us either. So we weren't sure if she was going to be accepting of the cat, if the kitten was even okay enough that, moms are very intuitive. They tend to know if babies are okay and, if they're going to make it. And so we kind of left it up to her, and we monitored her, but anytime we came over, she would, hide and kind of hide away her kitten, worried if we were going to take her. So, throughout the day, we just kept poking her head in, and sure enough, she took her, and she was nursing her within the first, half an hour we had her there, and she's been a really good mom.
Oh, what fortune.
I know.
That it would work out that way.
She's
so sad about the other mom, but just so good that you had one right there.
We were very fortunate because, you never know if usually we get moms right into foster, which she is going into foster soon, but luckily, we were it timed out perfectly that she was still in the building because, bottle feeding kittens is quite a project, and we have our great bottle feeding fosters, but they're hard to come by because it's very time consuming.
It's around the clock.
Yeah, and so especially singletons, it's a lot. It's hard. The outcome isn't always good. Yeah. So this is the best thing, is to have her be with a mama, with another kitten. And she's just, she's nervous, as you can see here, but she's already starting to kind of settle in a little bit with us, which is great. She's a really good mom.
And for the kittens to have each other, too,
yeah,
is great.
It's great socializing. And so they're going to be going into foster over the weekend, which is really good. And so we're very lucky that these citizens brought the baby right to us, because honestly, a kitten this young, they need to be warm and with mom really at all times. And so the timing, it was just very, very fortunate. And so we're really excited. So definitely stay tuned for, an update on these guys. And it's going to be a while.
Yes, I hope you'll give us an update in the next show.
Yeah, absolutely. And, speaking of updates, I didn't get any updated pictures, but Ranger last time, who was here.
Yes.
So
he was our star the
yes,
whole time.
He was. And, he actually went into foster yesterday with one of our really good fosters who takes longer stays, or dogs that just maybe they're on medication, or they're on, lately she's had some dogs that are on some weight loss programs. And so he met their two dogs and did really well. And so she said that they are coexisting very well. They're very good about keeping them separate and making sure they settle in before anything. And the picture she had sent was, he had just gotten there, and he was in his crate, letting him kind of decompress a little bit and work on some house training and get used to the environment and make sure her dogs were okay. And you could just see it on his face. He was already just felt that relaxation of just wow.
Just out of a kennel and into a home environment.
He's been with us for so long. I mean, he came in August, and he's just, I don't know why there's been no interest. And I think she's an older dog, and he's got allergies, and I think the financial side of that, and so at least he's in a home. He's with other dogs. He's got human interaction on a regular basis, and he gets the comforts of just being in a comfortable home. Aww. We're so excited to get him out of the kennel, and hopefully we'll learn some more about him, and maybe through this, we'll have someone reach out to us that are interested in him, because he really, we love to get him into a home, but we're just excited that he's in a foster home and gets to kind of be a dog, and they go on regular walks all the time. So he's going to be part of that and get some good old regular exercise and kind of enrichment that we just don't have at the shelter, which is really good. So we're so excited for him.
So it's a longer process for him, but this is the next really good step. wonderful.
And
I'm
for him,
glad to
it's,
hear
you
it.
know, it's a break. It's a good break for him. And he can decompress and learn to be a dog. And, you know, we get to see how he does in a home, you know, because he
Yeah.
came to us as a stray. So we never really got to see that side of him. And, you know, what's his mannerisms when he's in a home and, you know, so far he's been very chill and just kind of taking it in. Yeah, he's got to work on his manners, especially his leash manners, because he's a polar. But other than that, seems to be settling in really well. So.
Well, you know, it's funny when you, when my son took in Diesel
Yeah.
from a few months ago, one of the things you had said was that he might want to go out a lot because that was what he was used to. He's very independent. He was kind of left to wander.
Yeah.
Well, he's funny. He enjoys going out for his walks, but he's just happy to be wherever my son is, and he's happy to be inside. He's just, you know, it's funny how the things that they'll do at the shelter can completely change in a home environment.
Absolutely. And it's so hard to gauge, you know. We do our best to evaluate what kind of homes these dogs have and the behaviors we see, the behaviors we hear about or learn, whether it's from their previous owners, if we have that, or what we learn from them being in our care. And again, it's the shelter environment is, yes, you'll learn about dogs for sure, but it's not anywhere near a home environment.
right.
And so it's such
That's
a
right.
hard thing to do. And you
And
can never.
sometimes just being around the other dogs and
Yeah.
the noise and the stress can set things off in them that, you know, wouldn't get set off at a home too. So
Right.
that you see stress responses in them that you might not see
Absolutely.
in a home environment too.
Absolutely.
So,
And it's just such a different routine, you know, they have such a long amount of time where they don't have human interaction, and that's not normal for a dog in a home because you'll have times when you're at work, but usually at night, like that's when most of the time people are home.
Right.
And so they spend, you know, majority of that early evening and into the morning without that human interaction. So, you know, we're hoping to kind of add some additional volunteer opportunities for different hours to allow these animals to get more socialization, but you know that's still a program we're working on, so stay tuned for that.
I like
But
that idea.
It's gonna allow also open it up for people that are working during the day, and so
that's
most
right.
people get out at 5.
You'd get a whole new set of
Yeah.
volunteers that weren't available
Absolutely.
otherwise. And
Which is just, you know, we're always building our volunteer base. And so, you know, if you're interested in fostering, dog walking, I mean, even doing the dishes, cleaning kennels, cat rooms, you know, we're always looking for people to help. And so we're really our program has kind of gone away and come back. And so we're really trying to focus now on bringing people, onboarding people and building a good, reliable volunteer program. And we have some incredible volunteers. As I'm sure you've heard, we had 16 puppies in our building, and that most of them are gone, the Sweet 16, but we still have some there. And we have a volunteer, Nick, who has been basically taken it on himself to just be in charge of cleaning the puppy rooms. And
that is no small task, especially with that many.
And he's just been, him and so many other volunteers, you know, we have incredible dog walkers, and we rely on them so much, and it's such a, you know, wonderful, wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. I can't even imagine what that would involve, but I love the idea of evolving volunteer hours into some more non-traditional times too. So please keep us posted on that, because I'm sure there's people who that could really work for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
We're hoping so.
Yeah. Well, our little friend has settled in, Mocha.
Yes.
He's enjoying your lap.
That he is.
And did we get to everybody today?
Yeah, that's everybody.
That you have? Good.
Yeah,
so as folks should always know, there's more on the website.
Absolutely.
Right? Always welcome to call.
Yep.
Come in during your open hours.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Just, you know, if you didn't see your match on the show today, chances are they're out there somewhere, or in Foster.
Yep.
So folks should know about that.
Yeah.
And well, good. I can't wait to hear about all the other things that are coming up as we go along.
Yeah,
and if
a lot of new
folks too
things.
want to know about anything that you need, they can go on the website.
Yep, absolutely. Our wish list is there.
So thank you for joining us today. You too, Mocha.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching Pet Partners.